Hi, I'm Ben with Apt, and today we have a comparison of some of our most popular noise-canceling headphones. So we've had these three pairs of headphones in the studio for the past couple days, and we've been kind of comparing them and listening to them and seeing which ones we think are the best. And we've kind of graded them on four different criteria: the styling and construction, the comfort, the sound quality, and the quality of the noise cancellation. So the models we have here are the Beats Studios, the Bose QC25s, and the Cleer NCs. So we'll start with styling and construction, and we'll kind of dive in right from there. So our first criteria was styling and construction. Let's start with the Beats Studios. So these headphones have become really popular in the past few years, and they've become sort of a fashion statement amongst headphone wearers. If you ever see that big red B, that's because of the Beats. So these are made of a glossy type plastic. It shows fingerprints really well, so if you're kind of a stickler for fingerprints, this might not be the model for you. Additionally, because of that plastic, to me it feels a little bit cheaper than some of these other ones, but it still does have a nice weight and feels like a quality set of headphones. On the inside of the headband, you have this soft touch rubber, so this part's going to go on your head, and it feels really nice. And then the ear cups are leather wrapped and nice and soft. So as far as the construction and how these move, the ear cups don't really pivot at all. They stay pretty stationary, but it does fold up in this nice snapping way into a compact design to stick in its included case. So moving on to the Bose QC25s. These are about the same weight as the Beats, but they are also made of plastic. It's a different kind of plastic, though. It's more of a soft touch plastic rather than the rigid, glossy plastic that you find on the Beats. One thing to note about these is whereas these ear cups did not move, these move in all sorts of different ways, so they really fit your head nicely. Along the top, you have a leather-wrapped headband, and on the inside, it's more of a suede type soft material that's going to go on the top of your head. And then the ear cups are also a padded leather that are nice and squishy. So moving on, we have the Cleer NCs, and these are noticeably heavier, and that's due to the aluminum enclosures on the ear cups and on the joints here. And so just by picking these up, they feel substantial. They feel a lot better quality than the plastic because of the metal used. And then along the top, you have a nice leather-wrapped headband, as well as ear cups that are wrapped in leather, as well as removable, which is a unique feature because you can, if these ever wear out on you, you can buy new ones and replace them. So these are the least compact of the three. They don't really fold like the Beats did, and additionally, I forgot to mention that the Bose also fold. I'll show you here. Fold nice and compact like this. So both of these two models fold pretty compactly. The Cleers really don't. But as far as who would I give the winner to in this category, I'd have to go with the Cleers because of that heft and that weight. It makes them feel like a really high quality set of headphones. So our second criteria was comfort, and once again we'll start with the Beats. As I mentioned before, there's that soft touch rubber on the top, as well as the soft leather ear cups. And so these have a height adjustment. And as you'll notice, they fit pretty close to your head. So putting them on, they're really compact, and they really hug your ears, which is nice. The one thing about these that I didn't really like is they don't have any adjustment in these ear cups. So however you put them on, that's how they're going to stay. There's really no adjustment to it. Moving on to the Bose, these are extremely comfortable. I mean, you have that, as I mentioned, the Alcantara suede and the soft ear cups. Once again, height adjustment. So putting these on, they just feel that they cup your ears really well, and they're very soft and light. So I feel like for wearing these for a long period of time, these would be the best option. So if you're on a long flight or something, this would be a good pair to check out. And then lastly, we'll move on to these Cleers. And with that leather-wrapped headband, an additional height adjustment. This is more of a smooth height adjustment, whereas these kind of have those notches that you feel in headphones sometimes where they kind of pop up. So we'll put these on here. So these also hug your ears pretty well. I think the Bose do a slightly better job of getting your ear into the cup based on the shape. It's more of an oval, where these are more round. But these are also a very comfortable pair of headphones. They are a little bit heavier, so on a long trip you might get more fatigued wearing these. So for those reasons, in this category, I'd have to give it to the Bose. I think you could wear these for a long period of time, listen to all sorts of music, and not really get fatigued. So our third criteria for judging here was sound quality. And sound quality is a pretty objective thing, so, and I'm by no means an audiophile or anything, but we tested all three of these with multiple different tracks, and for reference we were using Spotify on the highest quality streaming possible. So like I said, it's not the most scientific test, but this is an objective test and kind of our opinions here in the studio. So starting with the beats, these were really bass heavy, which is good for some kind of music if you're listening to electronic or hip hop. But it kind of caused some muddiness to happen in the mids and highs, and to us that wasn't really the best. They were very bass heavy, so if you like a lot of bass in your music, these might be ones to check out. Moving on to the Bose, these were incredibly well balanced. You had really crisp highs, really clear mids, and a good amount of low range in that bass. So these I felt like were the most accurate for as far as like well balanced headphones would go. And then moving on to the Cleers. These were close to the Bose. I mean, these had really nice sound, but definitely a lot more in the low end in the bass. So these had stronger bass, and it caused the mids and highs to be a little bit muddy, but not nearly as much as the Beats did. So in sound quality, I'd have to give it to the Bose. I think just that well balanced and that crisp highs and nice mids really made these stand out. So our last criteria for judging these three was their noise canceling ability, and that's pretty much the most important because these three are top of the line noise canceling models. Now, if you've never tried on noise canceling headphones before, it's a little bit of an interesting experience, especially if you're not listening to music through them. And I'll get more into that a little later. But starting with the Beats. When you put these on, the noise canceling does a pretty good job of removing background frequencies. It was a little hissy though, which was kind of interesting to us. It wasn't completely silent when you were wearing them. There was a little bit of a background hiss. Moving on to the Bose, when you flipped these on without playing music through them, it's kind of like all the background sound of the room being sucked out. It's really, like I mentioned earlier, it's kind of a weird feeling. But these did a great job of removing background hums and noises from our HVAC, but they didn't seem to quite take out all of the frequencies that we were hearing. There was still some noticeable sound through those headphones. And lastly, the Cleers, we thought these did the best job. Wearing these is really strange. You don't hear much of anything, especially even when people are talking around you. Their voices sound really tinny and kind of far away. So if you're wearing these on an airplane or you're traveling with them and you're just really trying to get all that background noise out, these were the ones I would recommend. So that leads us to our conclusion here, and by themselves, each one of these sets of headphones is a really great set of headphones, but when comparing them to each other, you really pick out some of those weaknesses, and that's one of the reasons we kind of just eliminated the Beats right off the bat. The Bose and the Cleers really stood out, and for me it was really hard to pick a clear winner. Both had great sound quality, both had great noise canceling, but for me it's all about the fit and finish. I think that the Cleers are the winner here because of how sturdy they are. Those removable ear cups, if you ever wanted to replace those. Additionally, they have a rechargeable battery, which I forgot to mention earlier, whereas the Bose take a AAA. So all of those reasons, I really stuck with these. These are nice. They're a nice weight. They feel really sturdy, and they feel like they'll last you for years. So that's my choice on the best noise canceling headphones. For more information on noise canceling headphones and to see all the models we carry, check out app.com. And if you like our videos, be sure to like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel.